lesson we're going to review conditionals type 0, 1, and 2, and we're going to focus on the third conditional which we have this year in the program, is second year baccalaureate. So first, let's review the ones you have studied last year and before last year. Let's start with type 0. I want you to notice sentence 1. If you heat water, it boils. I want you to notice the times of the verbs. Heat, boils. Second example. If it rains, I stay at home. Also here, notice the time, the tense of rains and stay. Third, I don't sleep well if I drink coffee at night. So I guess by now you have guessed the times of the verbs and also the rule of making conditional type 0. So it is, as you might have guessed, if plus subject plus present, like rains, plus subject plus verb in the present simple. So conditional type 0, if plus verb. The first verb is in present simple, and also the second verb is in present. Could you please turn off the mic? Who is speaking? Someone is speaking. Could you please? I'm going
Yes,
to.
we are here.
Okay. Please listen and don't speak. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So I will repeat. We are now reviewing or revising 0 conditional. Like in the first sentence, if you heat water, it boils. If it rains, I stay at home. I don't sleep well if I drink coffee at night. How do we make conditional type 0 as you see here in the rule? We have if plus subject plus verb in the simple present plus subject plus verb in the simple present. Like here we have if in the first sentence, heat, this is verb in the present simple, it subject, and boils verb in the present simple. So this is conditional type 0. Like also in the second, if it rains, present simple, I stay, present simple, at home. Here we have, I don't sleep well if I drink coffee at night. So in the first two sentences, we have this one, this is the first clause, and the second clause. First clause, we call it the if clause, if you heat water. Second clause, we call it the main clause, it boils here. In the third example, we reversed them. We started with the main clause, after we have the if clause. So when we do this, please remember in punctuation, don't put a comma here. If you notice in the third example, there is no comma, okay? Here we have a comma. Why? Because we started with the if clause. Here also in the second example, we have a comma because we started with if. In the third one, there is no comma because we started with the second clause, and we continue, and also if with not capital letter but small letter I. Here we have I capital letter. Why? Because it's at the beginning of the sentence. Also here if I capital letter. This is for the form. For use, it means when do we use or what do we need 0 conditional for? We need it to express things for the real situations, reality, something that is a fact, scientific truth, for example, or general truth, like if you heat water, it boils. For example, if you heat ice, it melts. يعني إذا سخن الثلج يذوب. So we use it for real situation, حقائق علمية, or things that are always true, or like in the second example, my habits, the things that I always repeat. Like for example, for me, if it rains, I don't go out. I stay at home. It's like something real or a reality for me. This is what I always do. For example, if I have time, I sleep. If I have time, I watch TV. If I have time, I study. These are different habits that people do. So these are examples of habits. Let's move now to the first conditional. So if you don't understand anything, I will give you time later to ask you questions. Now we move to the first. Look at the first example. If I have time, I'll go shopping. I'll is short for I will. If it rains, we will stay at home. I'll call him if I find his number. I want you to notice the verbs in these three sentences. Have, will go. Rains, will stay. Here also we started with the main clause. We have if I find and I will call. I think you might have guessed now the formula of making first conditional. So this is the rule. If plus verb in the present simple plus subject plus future simple. What is future simple? Look at the rule here down here. It is will plus verb. Like I will call, I will stay, I'll go. This is future simple. Will plus verb. So this is how we make first conditional. If plus verb in the present simple plus will plus verb. What do we need this condition for? We need it for real and possible situation. Something that is possible to happen, that can happen. Like for me, if I have time tomorrow, I'll go shopping. Or if I have time now, I will go shopping. If it rains, we will stay at home. I'll call him if I find his number. So again, if verb plus verb in present simple plus verb in future simple. Now let's move to the second conditional. So this one you studied it in last year, in first year baccalaureate. We're going to revise it. Look at the first example. If I were rich, I would buy a big house by the beach. Second, if I were you, I'd do medicine. I would buy a laptop, a computer, if I had enough money. I want you to look at the verbs and try to guess the rule or the form of second conditional. So we have if plus verb in the simple past plus would plus verb without to, without infinitive. Okay, so this is the rule. If plus subject plus verb in the simple past plus subject plus would plus verb. Like here, if, were, this is simple past. I'd, this is short for I would. We can write it complete would or contracted form apostrophe D, I'd, I would. Plus verb. Also here, if plus were, this is past simple, plus would plus by. Here, as you notice in the third example, we reversed the sentence and we started with the main clause. Again, when we start with the main clause, there is no comma here, and we put small I, not capital I. I would buy a laptop if I had enough money. When do we use this conditional? We use it to express things which are unreal. It's the opposite of reality. Something that we think or is unlikely to happen or we think it's impossible. Like here, for example, if I were rich, I would buy a big house by the beach. In the reality, I am not rich, so I cannot buy a house by the beach. For now, for the present, I am not rich, so I cannot buy a house. I'm just supposing, I'm imagining a situation where I'm rich. If I were rich, I would buy. Also in the second example, if I were you, am I you? No, I'm not you. This is an impossible situation. But if I were you, I'd do medicine. We use this expression to give advice to people. It's like when you say to tell someone in Arabic, لو كنت مكانك لفعلت كذا أو لما فعلت كذا. We use it to give advice, and it is conditional type 2. If I were you, I would do this, or I wouldn't do this. Someone has just joined us. Please, people who have joined, turn the mic off. You have mic. Click on mute microphone and listen. When I finish, you can have time to ask your questions. So please don't talk, just listen. Also, the third example, I would buy a laptop if I had enough money. It means now I don't have enough money, so I cannot buy a laptop. I'm just supposing the opposite, something opposite of reality. If. Let's move to the third one, which we have this year in the program. So this is third conditional. Look at the first example. If I had studied hard, I would have passed the exam. The other ones, if you had come on time, you wouldn't have missed the class. I could have bought a computer if I had saved enough money. I want you to look at the verbs if had studied. So this is past perfect plus would have plus past participle. Past is the past participle past. Also here if plus past perfect plus wouldn't have plus missed, which is past participle. Here we started with the main clause. I could have bought a computer if I had saved enough money. We used here could in the place of would. I want you to remember that we can use in the place of would, we can use could or might. Plus have, plus past participle of buy, which is bought. And if I had saved is the past perfect. So this is the form of third conditional. If plus subject, plus verb in the past perfect, plus would or could or might, plus have, plus past participle. Like in the first example, if had studied, this is past perfect. Would have, past is the past participle. If plus had come is the past perfect. Plus wouldn't have, plus past participle. Here in the place of would, we used could. We can say I would have, I could have, I might have bought a computer if I had saved enough money. For the use, we use this to express impossible things in the past. Okay? It's like imagining what happened really in the past, the opposite of what happened in the past. So if I had studied hard, I would have passed the exam. It means I didn't study hard, so I didn't pass the exam. This is what happened in the past in reality. Now, it's like an express of regret. I'm supposing the opposite, and I say, if I had studied hard, if I had studied hard, the situation would have been different. Maybe I failed, but if I had studied hard, I would have passed the exam. Let's look at the second example. If you had come on time, you wouldn't have missed the class, which means in reality, you missed the class. يعني فاتتك الحصة. Why? Because you hadn't come on time. I'm supposing now the opposite. If you had come on time, you wouldn't have missed the class. The third example, I could have bought a computer if I had saved enough money. It means I didn't save enough money, so I couldn't here expresses ability. يعني لم أستطع استطاعة القدرة. I couldn't buy a laptop. Why? Because I didn't save enough money. So we use this again. This is in the past to express regret or to hypothesize about what could have been different if the condition had been different. Like here, I didn't study. If I had studied, I would have passed because I had failed. I hope this explanation was helpful to you to understand the types of conditionals. I know we have a lot of conditionals and a lot of rules, but I'm going to give you now time to ask your questions. And after this, I'm going to give you the link to a quiz to check your understanding. So let's get back to you. So hello everyone.